I tried. Thank you. Also, we've got Elsie Lovelock. Yes. Chloe. I mean, I could be here all day going through everything and anything you've all done. So I'm going to pass the mic so you guys can introduce yourselves. Elsie?
Right, hi everyone. There's so many of you. Oh my gosh, hi. I hope you're all having a great day. It's so lovely to see you all. I'm going to embarrass myself by putting up some notes because I always forget things that I've actually been in. So I'll start with that. So hi, I'm Elsie Lovelock. I'm a voice actor, a singer and a YouTuber. Everybody here most likely probably knows me as the voice of Mommy Longlegs in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. Charlie's singing voice in Has Been Hotel on Vivsy Pop's channel. Yay, we love it. Thank you. And I've also been in some video games such as Smite, Paladin, Chivalry 2, World Rally Championship 10, Mr. Hop's Playhouse 2, and many more. And done some anime on Crunchyroll such as Moriarty the Patriot and Last Dungeon Boonies. Yeah, got some Moriarty fans. And I've also worked with some YouTubers such as SMG4, Afmao, Saberspark, CG5, Signor Pello, and many, many more. So yeah, it's lovely to see you all. That's me. Thank you.
Check. Let's do this. Hi everyone. Hi, I'm Marta Svetek. My CV is not that big, but still got some good stuff in it. You might know me from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, where I voiced Roxanne Wolf, and Gregory, and Vanny. Got really lucky with that one. By the way, that cosplay, that mango cosplay, I'm sorry, but that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, props to that. But yeah, so other stuff I've done, I also do a lot of mocap, and I worked on Destiny 2, I worked on Battlefield 2042. I've recently also joined the same game as Elsie, which is Chivalry 2. There's a lot of 2s in the games I've been in, yeah. And a bunch of other stuff that I can't talk about, but it's coming out real soon. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. That's me.
Hello. Hi, my name is Chloe. I am a voice actor who, a lot of work I've done is in Smite, where I was Oni Huntress Artemis. If Undertale was realistic, I was Toriel. And I've worked with Magic the Gathering, and oh my gosh, I am blanking. I wish I did what Elsie did. I've also worked with a number of YouTubers such as DA Games, where I featured in a couple of his songs, as well as CG5. So yeah, it's been... Do you guys not find it's a really small world that you end up bumping into each other, or if not really familiar faces?
Yeah, I mean, the good thing about the voiceover community is that it's very, very small. So if you know everybody, odds are you'll definitely end up in something at some point. So yeah, that's a nice thing about it, yeah.
Before we carry on, is there anyone with any dying questions? Anyone? Are we good to go? Yeah, cool.
It's very hard to see.
Wait, okay.
Oh, there we go.
Please come to the front. No. Oh, thank you. Please let us know your name.
Amelia.
And Amelia, what's your question?
Elsie Lovelock, what's it like working with SMG4 and like the other people? Yeah, it's really good fun. They're really nice. They're very passionate about what they do. They've created, their own projects from SMG4, like Meta Runner and Murder Drones, and they've got so much cool stuff going on. They're really nice guys. I have so much respect for them. And yeah, working on SMG4 stuff is crazy, but it's very funny. So yeah, I really enjoy it. But yeah, that's a good question. Thank you.
Any more questions? Yeah? Come on up to the front, guys, if you have questions.
Chloe, you're allowed to sit down. Hi, what's your name? Wolf, you were here last time. I recognise you. What's your question?
My question is, What has the role been for all three of you? I might know your answer already, Elsie. What was the significant role in your career when you thought, wow, I'm getting somewhere. This is big and this feels amazing?
Very deep question.
I give up on this mic. I mean, for me, it was Eris Morn for Destiny 2, for sure. It was one of those moments because it's a game I've played a lot. I mean, a lot. We even did 24-hour charity streams, like raising money for the Stand Up to Cancer and everything. So yeah, I've played a lot of that game, and I encountered Eris so many times. And when I stepped into the mocap volume, and you see this live previs screen, like you see the character moving as you, and I just like, it hit me. Oh my God. I stepped into sort of the body of Eris when I picked up the mantle, and it was like, oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna need, I think I got something in my mouth. Oh yeah, that was it for me. You guys.
I think for me it was definitely at the beginning of the year when I did record for Smite. Smite for, because I don't know, like I always seen Smite as like one of those games that was like a gateway for a lot of voice actors, because a lot of the biggest voice actors you know, like in current like trends, etc., have somewhere appeared in Smite, or they've appeared in Paladins, etc. And I love Paladins, by the way. So I think that was the point that I was like, wow, this is actually something achievable for me. Like, as I said, I've done, like, again, I'll bring back if Undertale was realistic, I'd done that, but at the time it was just fun, you know? Like, I never really thought of it as, ooh, serious voice acting, because I was just sitting there yelling seals and seal pie and stuff, so like, I didn't take it as serious at all. But yeah, so definitely it was, Smite was the big one for me, so.
I think honestly, this is going to sound a bit weird, but the moment where I was like, oh my God, is this really happening, was when I got to sing for an Angry Video Game Nerd episode, because I love him. I've been watching him since like high school.
Marta, what's your favourite voice line for each of your characters in Security Breach?
Favorite voice lines from Security Breach?
Oh, crappy Mr. Hipple fridge magnet? Lame.
That's a Gregory. For Roxy, there's a few different ones. It's like, hey kid, come on out. I won't try to help. I mean, for Batty, it's a classic. Are you having fun yet? But yeah, those are my favorites.
Thank you. Hi, what's your name?
Ruby.
Ruby, what's your question?
For everyone, what's your funniest moment with your voice acting casting you've had to work with?
So, what's been your favourite moment with your fellow voice acting cast when you've recorded?
Maybe like the favourite moment.
Yeah, in like the studio, or if you've done.
Oh, what favourite moment in voiceover ever?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, yeah, that's a lot. I mean, just when it all goes well is my favorite moment. You know, when you kind of finish the job and when the client's happy with it, that's my favorite moment, when you know that you've done a good job. But no, honestly, I mean, one of the best things about this job is that you get to do so many characters and different things, and that's the most fun thing. You just get to be so many different personalities and emotions, and honestly, I'm just happy to be doing that. I think it's awesome. I can't really think of anything in particular.
I have a recent one, actually, because you know how you do, even if your characters interact, right? You record everything separately. It's very rare that you actually get to record together with the person you're talking to. And so I didn't meet Kellen Goff until way after the game was out, and we were doing a signing on Streamily. So I still haven't met him in person. And we have all these lines together as Gregory and Glamrock Freddy. And I was just like, you know, it'd be nice to meet Kellen. And we met online, live on stream, and she was like, oh my God, it's you! That was one of my favorite moments. That was great.
In terms of myself, like, mine's a very recent one as of like last week, which is something I can't talk about what it is. However, there was like a line that I got to do, and I was told, all right, your character kind of changed a bit here, like the way they deliver this line, and you have to deliver it really differently to match another character, which is really dark. And it was like that moment of going from a character that's usually very happy and all like that to a very dark, like evil kind of character. I love stuff like that. And like in the sense of I am to be mimicking another performer on their delivery to it. And so I'm sitting there like geeking out. And I think another thing I can't talk about is like I got to do some work and I'm like looking at what I'm to voice over, and I'm hearing another actor that I like adore.
Office job. I was in an office, and last minute put some like just test reads on something for an animation, and they were just like the next morning when we were presenting it, they were just like, yeah, no, we like that. So it's like, huh, okay, well that was really fun, and I'm doing this anyway, so why don't I try it out like more, you know, for games and everything, so I'm such a passionate gamer. And so I put in a lot of work, did a lot of acting classes, you know, then trained up to it, and the more I did it, the more I loved it. So that's kind of how it happened. Never thought about it until then. So yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing discovery. What about you guys?
I originally wanted to be an animator, so I've always loved, you know, movies, video games, everything. And then I was in a show when I was like 17 and it kind of changed my mind, and I was like, oh, I actually love performing. I had a YouTube channel for a long time. I mean, I'm quite old now. I had that when I was like 16. So I've been doing covers on YouTube a long time, and I started doing more shows and stuff. I was on Britain's Got Talent a long while back. And then it kind of evolved into voiceover, and I get really bad stage fright, like really, really bad. And voiceover is great because it's a way for me of still doing those, you know, those performances and acting, but not being on stage, which makes me terrified. So yeah, I just kind of fell into it really, started auditioning for things online, and it just kind of went from there. And now I'm extremely grateful that I get to call it my full-time job. And you know, please feel free to come up to any of us afterwards and we can talk to you about how to get into it. You know, please feel free to ask any questions. Sorry, I just spat everywhere there. Yeah, and we'll definitely help you. So yeah, it's great that you want to do that, and yeah, please ask us for help.
Elsie out here shooting projectiles. For me, like, anime was a big part, but I think honestly there was like a seed in there from a lot earlier in life, which was whenever I was in primary school, we went to like a creative arts kind of studio, and at the time they had like an actual like recording studio in this like little creative arts studio. And everyone was all interested in drawing and all like that. No one was interested in like this recording studio, but they brought us in, got us to do a line or two just to let you get experience of it, do some sound effects, etc. And I think back then there was just something that clicked, and I really enjoyed that feeling. And then like anime came about, I got into it, and I was like, oh, I like this voice actor, I like that voice actor, and. Haven't done anime, but I have done plenty of video games, and I think as well as that, it's just fun, you know, like there's a lot of fun of stepping out of your own shoes, as well as that I'm like Elsie, and like I don't want my face out there in terms of like on camera work. It's not for me at all. So I like just staying in my little dark booth, yelling into a microphone, all these obscenities, etc. So, but thank you so much for the question. Happy birthday!
Hiya, what's your name?
Yusaku.
Yusaku, what's your question?
To Elsie, what is your favorite line when you voice Mommy Longlegs from Happy Playtime, Chapter 2?
What was my...
What is your favorite line when you voice
My
Mommy
favorite
Longlegs?
line? Oh, my favorite line from Mummy Longlegs, is that the question? Probably at the end when she, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, I don't know if anyone's played it or not, but she goes kind of crazy and psycho at the end. And I loved doing the countdown, and then the, you know, like, you cheated, you know, all those lines. That was really fun. Kind of a boring answer, really. Yeah, I just loved when she goes all crazy at the end. That's pretty much it. It was really good fun. That's pretty much it.
Well, to be honest, Mommy Longlegs, she could have counted of 1. She stopped at 2.
I know, well, that gives you a chance to run away, doesn't it?
Yeah, she was shrinking.
No, that's a great question. Thank you so much.
What's your name?
Macy.
Macy, what's your question?
What
role would you love to like play as, or you wish you could?
Dream role, guys. We love that question. Thank you. In anything. I don't know, like, I think a very obvious answer that, like, Elsie in particular knows that I will always say is I would love at some point to be in, like, Miraculous Ladybug, because that's a big, like, in the heart for me. I've got a tattoo and everything. Kingdom Hearts, TMNT, bit of a weird one, but yes, and I don't know, like, there's a couple of games here and there. Like, I would love to work anime. I cannot deny I would love to work anime, but right now video games is what people want me for, and video games is what I'll do. So I'm happy with that. So.
I mean, I have a few different ones. I would love to be like in full performance capture, so you do voice and body and everything, and like use my stunt training as I was trained in stunts, like choreography and stuff like that, for like Assassin's Creed type game. I would love to be the lead in one of those.
Can you parkour?
I can't parkour, but I can fall real good. So when I try to do parkour and fall over, it's gonna look great. Like sword work and stuff like that. And on the other hand, I'm currently very, very deep down the rabbit hole of Final Fantasy XIV. Very deep down that rabbit hole. So Yoshi P, please cast me. Just say, cast us all of us. We're here. We're ready. Our bodies are ready. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I'm lucky that I've been able to be in a lot of stuff that I wanted to be in, but for me, and this probably isn't going to happen, but never say never, I would love to be in a game like that's got a big roster like Overwatch or Apex Legends, like a new character, and they get their own cinematic trailer and all that cool stuff. I would also love to be in a Resident Evil game. Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and it's very unlikely because they cast it and they do all the, you know, casting in America, so it's not very likely, but never say never. But yeah, that's one of my favorite franchises ever, and I would absolutely love to be a part of that franchise in any way possible. So that's my answer.
Thank you. What's your name?
Ella,
Ella, what's your question?
have you got any top tips, like any of you, on overcoming stage fright?
Oh man, overcoming stage fright tips. I mean, as someone who severely suffers from stage fright, I completely relate to that. I think what it is that you kind of have to imagine that the worst that can happen is that you forget your line or you stumble, and you just got to carry on, you know? And the thing is I find about being on stage is that it all goes so quickly that by the time it's done, you kind of got that adrenaline, and you kind of wonder what you were worried about, sort of thing. And I think the main thing is to just enjoy it. Like, you know, when you're on stage, you know, revel in the moment, just enjoy, you know, being in front of an audience, and, you know, not to say that the nerves can't kick in sometimes. I mean, I did a show a few months ago where I was singing with a bunch of West End performers. I only had one song, and you would have thought that I was, you know, singing at the Olympics or something. I was making such a fuss, you know, I was so anxious. But it all went so fast, and while I was on stage singing the song, I was just like, you know, take some deep breaths, take it slowly, you know, ground myself, sort of stand, you know, sort of stand your ground, you know, and just sort of enjoy the moment. And once you start to kind of feel it and revel in it, it gets a lot easier. And then afterwards, it was like, oh, what was I worried about for months, you know? So, yeah, what about you?
I mean, for me, I like to break things down. So sometimes and it works not just for stage fright, but anything you're nervous about, it's when you think about it as a whole big thing, it feels very heavy. It feels like, oh my God, the weight of this scary thing is on my shoulders. But if you break it down and say, I'm on the side of the stage, all I have to do is put one foot in front of the other and just walk out. That's the first step. And the next one is, I don't know, sit down. And the next one's like, you can walk, you can sit, and you can, you know, you can say a word, you can say, hi, I'm so-and-so. And so if you break it down into these little bite-sized chunks, it doesn't seem so scary anymore. It seems more doable. And once you're on stage, that's the scariest part, right? When, like, just before you get on stage. So once you're on stage, you see it starts flowing. And even if you fumble up the line or whatever it is that you're on stage to do, just think one foot in front of the other. What's the next word? Just break it down, make it little by little, anything you're scared of, and it'll be a lot easier. And don't forget to breathe.
Absolutely.
What about you, Chloe?
I think definitely what these guys have said is spot on. Like, I'm speaking from a position of I get extreme stage fright when it comes to singing. I cannot, like, I sing as part of my career. I can sing fine in the shower and everywhere, but like singing on stage is a whole new beast for me. But it is just a matter of, like, it's going to be nerve-wracking, but sometimes just with experience, it comes easier and easier every time. Like, I remember, so I started coming to these cons back in February, and Elsie can tell you I was really nervous because I was like, what do I say? What am I going to mess up? Blah, blah, blah. I still mess up. Who cares? You know what? Like, it's just, yeah, with experience and with practice, it'll come. And break it down, I think guys have said, and just take your time. Nothing terrible is going to happen. Trust me.
Do you have something coming up? Is that why you want to get some tips?
Actually, Jaden.
Just own it. Just own it. Make a joke of it. Just keep going, and then it becomes a recurring joke as you go, and then you make light of it. Just own it. You said a funny thing. Like for Battlefield, I had a million lines where I had to say, capture Charlie sector, capture Gold sector, capture this bit.
Any anime? Any voice in any anime? What would you want to do?
In any anime? Oh man. I just like to be kind of a main character in like a shoujo or like a magical girl, or a really horrible villain, like a really vile anime villain would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, there's so many animes out there. It's like, you know, there's always going to be a role for something. So I'm
Because it's an action movie, and there is a lot of fighting. And we did all our own stunts. And I, like I said, very good at falling. So I hit the ground a lot. Like, it was a lot of work. So yeah, muscle soaks happened a lot, but it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I'm not complaining, like, at all. But it's like, yeah, I worked on that one. I can't wait till it comes out.
Well, I can't say that I've been falling from things and hitting the ground like you have. I'm not as active and fit, but yeah, oh bless you. But I did a role in a game recently which isn't out yet, where the character had an extremely emotional journey, and it hit very close to some personal things in my life. And I never usually do this, but I actually cried for real during the session, and that was very hard because I was very like emotionally drained afterwards. You know, crying just exhausts you in general. But yeah, that was very full on, and I came out of the booth and I was like, oh Jesus, you know, I gotta take some time for myself. That was just a bit much, you know, puffy eyes and everything. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, like, as long as you take your time and, you know, treat yourself well, you know, keep your throat in a good condition, you know, take some breaks, then usually it's okay to get through, but you've always just got to be so careful. But yeah, for me, that was my instance. That's another really great question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, what's your name? Louis. Louis, what's your question?
What was your hardest fight acting thing? What was your hardest character to play, I mean?
Hardest or highest? What's your hardest character for you to perform as?
What that we've done?
Yeah.
That we've done in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, probably the one I just talked about from that game. That was pretty tough. But yeah, I mean, Poppy Playtime was really, really fun. But when it got to like the dying sequences, it was a bit kind of like, ooh, my throat. You know, anything dying, screaming, you know, you have to be very careful with that. And honestly, also has been Hotel. When I was singing the second song in that, the really fast one, I was like, God, this is the hardest song I've ever sung in my life. And I had to do so many takes, and, you know, it was just very hard to get right. And, you know, I'm British and I had to sing in an American accent and try to match the actress doing the voice. And it was all just very challenging in a great way. But it was, yeah, after that I was like, oh my Lord, you know, that was a lot. But yeah, that's kind of it for me. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's Gregory. It was the first time I did a child's voice, and you know, it's like, yeah, if you can do a voice in a certain sentence, doesn't mean you can sustain it, right? It's being able to do the full emotional range in a certain accent or a certain sort of timbre, or, you know, just doing that. That was a challenge. I learned a lot from it. And yeah, again, Chivalry was very challenging, also because it's a first-person first-person medieval like fighting game. So it just 99% of it is screaming. And I don't know if you guys know this, but basically when we get a script for a game like that, it's an Excel spreadsheet. And you have short lines that can be dropped in whenever. So you just record line after line after line, and then you go to efforts or exertions. So the you know, that kind of stuff. And for them, because of the different ways you can dispatch your enemy, it's like, okay, let's move on. Okay, give us 12 versions of being on fire. I was just like, okay, I need some water for this, maybe some tea and honey. But also, there's another one with, there's another funny story with exertions, with the first sort of major game that I did, which was Warhammer 2. And you do the same thing. Okay, so do an effort like you got a cannonball in the leg, like, ow, my leg. And a cannonball in the stomach, ooh. Okay, now do one that you got a cannonball into your face. I'm like, crunch? You know what I mean? It always goes a little crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's me. What are you, Chloe?
There's a video game I had to do recently that, like it was a couple months ago, and it was, it's a well-known one, but it's essentially one where they haven't been able to get the original voice back, so they've had to recast and had someone redo all the lines, and I was that person, so trying to stay in that character was definitely like, because you're not only trying to be this character, but you're trying to be somewhat like the portrayal that this community already knows of, and you have to try and either match it or better it, and it's like, it's not easy because there's already that expectation. Another one is, so I work with like DA games a lot, and I also work with Dexter Manning, and both of them have a channel together called Banter Nation, and a lot of the work they give me is screaming. It is, I kid you not, it is mostly screaming, or it is mostly yelling, or just really all over the place kind of like voices, and it can be weird at times. It can be weird, so like, I'll be sitting, because I got two housemates, one of them is DA Games and then the other is a friend of ours, and we, I'll just be like, all right, Dex has sent me a line, listening to it, what is he about to have me yell? What is this? Why? No, stop! But I'll still have to do it. And then I get very weird looks. Very often.
Marta, so the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon, how was it to like work with him?
So amazing cosplay, by the way. Hi Roxanne. I actually never met Scott. I am not, so it's Steel Wool Studios that now do production, and the team there, J-Top, Ray, Brian, they've been absolutely amazing. I only briefly spoke with Scott on email, but
I just want to say, how badly did your voice hurt after singing that song for so long? It must have been quite taxing, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah, because I mentioned earlier, yeah, the second song was the taxing one. The first song, the calmer one at the very beginning, I did that in one take, so that was pretty easy. So the take that you hear in the thing is the one take, and then the second one, that was like a million different takes, and it was very exhausting. But yeah, it's really cool to work on songs like that. It was a challenge, and I always love a challenge. So yeah, throat definitely hurt afterwards. I needed a lot of tea, but it's totally worth it, and I'm really glad that people enjoy it.
I just want to quickly say that I very much enjoyed it too, and lovely con we're having here as well.
Oh, yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for that question.
It's my absolute pleasure. One more thing I want to say, drink plenty of water.
Absolutely, that goes to everybody here. Drink lots of water on a day like today, especially for your, yeah, absolutely. Stay hydrated, very important. Is that a question for all of us? Yeah. Oh, thanks, yeah, I mean, that's, I don't even know what to say about that, yeah. I don't know, I mean, I've always liked doing different silly voices since I was a kid. You know, I had lots of like Beanie Babies I would play with, and I'd give them all different voices and accents. So I feel like that sort of playfulness has, you know, come into my career now, doing all these different voices and stuff. And yeah, I don't know really. It's always very funny when you hear someone do a voice in a cartoon or something, and then you hear them speak normally and they sound nothing like the character. I always love that. It's so funny. But yeah, no, that's actually a huge compliment. I wouldn't want a character to sound like me. My voice itself is really boring, so.
I mean, no, it's not. I think for me, I liked imitating as a child. I liked walking around and imitating voices and imitating like, the rhythm with which. I bet I'm your favorite.
Yeah, I mean, Mommy Longlegs was fun. Yeah, that is so, hearing you do that in person is just like, that's amazing. Yeah, I know, Mommy Longlegs and Poppy Playtime was great. I have no idea what she says. I can't even remember half her lines. So if anyone wants me to do one later at my table, feel free to come up. I can't even remember. I'll give it to you, and if I remember one, I'll do it at some point, but I always forget what her actual script is, so.
Only Huntress Artemis, honestly, so far. Only Huntress Artemis, definitely. An Oni's arrow is tough enough to pierce any heart. If you aren't ready for death, then you better flee. Thank you so much for your question. Thank you so much. Hi, what should I?
Your brain just flies past when you mess it up. Yeah, I guess one of the funnier ones is like when you get the giggles. Yeah, and you start messing up, and then you start realizing how ridiculous you sound, and you start laughing, and then everything becomes funny, and you just get the giggles. And I do something where like the more I get the giggles, the more I'm gonna do a snort. Like, and it just goes downhill from there.
I was just going to add to that, the funniest thing is when like a frog or a burp comes out and you can't help it, and then you just start laughing because you're like, that just sounded so stupid, you just have to laugh at it. Those are the funniest kind of bloopers for me. But yeah, absolutely agree.
It's the best when that happens, when you are in a live directed session, so you've got the director and all the like not the animators, but the game developers there, and you just had a burp or something, and you have a very sensitive microphone. So I mean, that microphone picks up, if you take a bottle of water and you pour it into the glass, it sounds like you're doing it right at the microphone. That's how detailed it is. So they get to hear all of that, every lip smack, everything that's happening. You're like, well, you know what? You guys signed up for this. So.
I think sometimes like my best, I think some of the stuff is, I've got a very bad mind. Like sometimes like I have a naughty mind attack, and I'm like, I slap myself in the back of the hand like, no, Chloe, be careful. But sometimes like you might be saying a line and then you might mess up and it might take it a very different direction entirely. Or you can perceive a line very differently because sometimes scripts don't give you direction. And you're just given like these lines and you're like, all right, I'll say it. Why is this line in here? What? So yeah, I think sometimes my mind makes it funnier for me.
Thank you, characters.
Never say never. Yeah, for me, Resident Evil or Overwatch or Apex Legends. Every single time this question is always Resident Evil. Yeah, that's me. Pretty simple answer. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Thank you so much.
All right, guys, so we've run out of time for questions, but just to let you know, these guys are going to go back to their booth upstairs, so you can come and continue the conversation. So thank you so much for being